Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Sagittarius January 14, 2023. Mars turns direct today after more than 2 months of retrograde motion, and you begin to see rewards for work and health efforts. Work complications tend to iron out as you move forward. You may feel inspired to work a little harder for the things you love or focus more on health and wellness pursuits with added confidence and motivation. Home and family matters are also beginning to see some progress. You've had to take your time with big decisions and feel things out with Mars retrograde, and you're now reaching a turning point. You'll soon be ready to make decisions and take action that you've been mulling over, although it's best to ease yourself into new beginnings. Not only are things a little confusing around shifts such as this one, but Mercury remains retrograde until the 18th. A new day is dawning. In fact, it is one of the most important ones to appear in 2023. Finally, after months of exhaustion riddled with conflict and karmic lessons, we will start to see improvement slowly but surely. Mars, the red planet of passion, sex, and war, was retrograde since Halloween in the heavens of Gemini. This brought tough learning curves around how you've approached all of these themes, as well as how you've communicated in your personal and romantic life in months and years past. Luckily, you can proceed with a happier tone moving forward. Invest into your life. You have worked exceptionally hard to make the money you have, so try to be proud of what you have accomplished and use it to make your life more comfortable when Venus in Aquarius sextiles Chiron in Aries. Treating yourself should not be this hard, so find the confidence to splurge a little today. Doing so might be a nice way to end the craziness from Mars retrograde, since the red planet will be stationing direct in Gemini. Expect work to be somewhat easier to manage and for your stress levels to decrease. As she moves into her final 2 weeks in your income sector, it is the professional gods that come through for her. It is just hours after Mars' direct turn in your work sector today that the moon will return for its first visit to your career sector for the year, kicking off a pivotal few days across the income, work, and career fronts just as the tide turns. The energy it takes to explain why you did not do something you should have is twice as expensive as the energy it takes to do something right. The stakes are even higher when it comes to your health. The energy it takes to eat well and exercise often is infinitely less than the energy it takes to deal with illness. Take a moment to steer yourself in the right direction if tense, stressful times have put you off your usual health regimen. It's perfectly natural to turn to comfort foods and mood-altering behaviors in times of great uncertainty. It's okay that you've perhaps leaned a little heavily on these creature comforts over the last many weeks, but given that this is a marathon and not a sprint, you now have the opportunity to adjust your course for the long haul. Drink at least 1 glass of water for every glass of wine or soda, try to get more sleep, move more, experiment with checking the news only once a day, or every other day. This day may see you finding innovative approaches to teaching the subject matter you handle. Whether it be in a formal or informal classroom setting, you will shine. In many situations you will find that people gravitate to you for an honest and firm overview of the situation they are in. They trust your ability to let them know when the pot is calling the kettle black. Have faith in your abilities more than ever as you head out for the day. In a case of perfect timing, the moon will return for its first visit to your career sector for the year just a few hours after Mars turns direct in your work sector today. After months in retrograde motion, as the warrior planet of the cosmos turns direct, this will not only give work and job matters the green light, but frustrated by being held back, this will unleash your work passions, fighting and competitive spirit. The moon returns to both add to this and to ensure your professional instincts are sharp. The second of the 4 planets that began the year in retrograde motion turns direct today, leaving just Mercury and Uranus in retrograde motion. This gives Mercury, the planet of communication, another 6 days in retrograde motion in Capricorn to get the communication lines open to the past, while Uranus will keep the doors open to the past and second chances on the romantic front for another 10 days. Our eyes in the sky. Action planet Mars turns direct in Gemini this afternoon, ending the retrograde story that began on October 30, 2022. We could feel a bit frustrated and out of sorts as Mars begins to wind down from its planetary moonwalk. However, we're just feeling the tail end of drama that we've been dealing with for months. Our energy can now be restored and revived for the first time in a long while. You find work-related issues easy to handle, and using your alert and active mind you apply fresh impetus to projects that require concentrated team effort. You encounter very few obstacles in your personal life. Whatever you choose to focus your attention on, others are enthused by your innovative approach and appreciate the concerted effort you make. Your ability to understand any situation is good, and you're able to undertake any sort of mental task. Equally, you're communicating without any difficulty, so possible negotiations or similar conversations turn out to be successful. You also find your general level of curiosity is heightened, and you're keen to acquire knowledge and learn as much as you can. If you enjoy buying yourself something new, go ahead and do it. You have the means to do so, and it's about time you treated yourself. Your finances allow you to make a small investment, and you are sensible enough not to overspend. Get out and strut your stuff. Feeling attractive, you're easily persuaded to make the most of your looks with a visit to the hairdresser or the health club. You're amazed at the transformation. Feeling even more appealing, when you meet up with others your attractiveness shines through. You're aware how people notice you. It's not your imagination. Mid-morning, Venus in Aquarius sextiles Chiron in Aries, helping to heal our hearts. Today's interactions stimulate reminders of wounds experienced in past relationships. It may not be a romantic wound, but a platonic one. Perhaps the betrayal of a friend, or being ostracized from a social circle. Yet today, the trigger feels softer. The lessons imparted are gentler. We might find ourselves entrenched in a similar dynamic with a friend who keeps us on the outs. Yet we can see that this is not the kind of alliance we wish to have in our lives. Alternatively, it may be that we are now part of the in crowd. We can welcome someone into our sphere and thus repair some of the karmic damage we incurred in our youth. Intensify contacts to people, because they find you particularly likable right now. Plan your leisure time with family and good friends, and most importantly, make your plans together. You might feel like ringing up an old friend. The time is perfect to revive and strengthen old ties. This will make it easy for you to make new contacts and maybe even lifelong friendships. In the early afternoon, Mars stations direct after nearly 2.5 months of being retrograde. During this time, we have had to contest with stalled projects, low libidos, weakened immune systems, and an inability to achieve progress in the causes that are important to us. Finally, these issues start to fall away as Mars begins its forward march. Take a mental inventory of the past few months and note lessons learned. We may have discovered that we were putting our energy behind work initiatives or relationships that were not worth the effort. Having received a clearer picture, we can proceed in the arenas where our actions are able to make a real impact.